So Cam and I were on a couple of calls this afternoon with some of our mentorship clients, and they actually had some calls scheduled with potential creators that they were going to collaborate with. Now, they mentioned that they didn't really feel comfortable getting on the phone. They didn't really see what the objective of the call was. Obviously, they wanted to sign the creator, but they didn't necessarily see how to go from saying hi to signing them. And that was kind of like the bit there in between they were a little stuck with. So I thought, right, well, I could sit here and explain it, or I could just film myself jumping on the phone and actually calling a creator, which I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to jump on the phone with the creator and I'm going to let you guys watch how I actually construct this phone call. Now, the way that you construct the phone call with the creator is going to be completely down to who that creator is, what they're looking for, and where they're at in their journey. For example, if they're a new creator, it's going to be a lot of reassurance about whether or not this is the right thing for them to do. Naturally, as the manager, it's your responsibility to kind of verify that they are fit to work and they're in a position to make that decision on their own. But also, you want to make sure that ultimately they know what they're getting into and that it's worth your time as a manager. If they're somewhat in the middle, it's more a case of working out whether they've got the potential for your time to be invested in them to be worth it. If they're a big creator, it's pretty much about you landing that sale. It's about you closing the deal. That's kind of the objective of the call. So depending on who you're talking to changes the way that you want to construct the phone call. And in this particular case, I'm calling a femdom creator, which is something that we do a hell of a lot of work with. We have a bunch of femdom creators. So you might find that the particular branding that I'm referring to here doesn't necessarily relate to you. But what I want you to understand here and what I want you to look at is how I'm actually constructing the call, the kind of things I'm saying, the way that I'm saying it, how I'm trying to make them feel comfortable, how I'm trying to give them the opportunity to talk, but also make sure that I'm still in control of the conversation and I'm leading the way, as it's our job as a manager to lead that conversation and frame that creator. So you should hopefully see a few of those things, but I'll maybe edit over the top so you can see. Hey, how are you?
Hello. Hi, good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. What's going on? What you been doing?
I was just working and yeah.
Working hard or hardly working, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've been connected to you through. How do you know?
I've worked with as a performer before. And trains at my gym with me, so
Okay.
like we're like friends, so yeah.
Right, yeah, makes sense. Okay, cool. So talk to me a little bit about you and kind of your situation within the industry and is this full-time thing for you? Is this just a little bit of a side income? Talk to me about your branding and kind of how you present yourself and really who is.
Okay. I do a lot of fetish and wrestling and like domination type stuff, a lot of strong girl stuff, lift and carry, all that kind of stuff. I also do porn, but it seems that there's more action with fetish stuff than with porn stuff for me. Like there's just a lot more going on. It seems like I do wrestling sessions, and that seems to be pretty like more common than like escort stuff and everything. So like mainly what I'm falling into is like wrestling domination, guys that want to be like beaten up, like just stuff like that. Guys that want me to talk about like swallowing them, like shrinking them down, swallowing them like giantess stuff. Kind of niche type things like that.
Yeah.
I also do mainstream porn, like when I get a paid gig or whatever, I'll do, but lots of wrestling. And let's see what else.
When you say you'll do porn, sorry to interject there, like what exactly do you mean by that? So is that like on-brand porn in relation to giantess and muscle mommy sort of porn, or is it more conventional submissive porn?
It's when I get like a porn gig, it's just like conventional normal porn, but it's few and far between, to be honest. I don't do a lot of porn.
Yeah, we need to really kind of knuckle down on that a little bit. I think maybe what I see here is a little bit of organized chaos in the sense of we've somewhat got an idea who you are and what your branding is, but we've also got a lot of different variants of said branding, and we've kind of gone off brand a little bit with certain pornos and things like that. And if we're looking at big spenders, at least from an OnlyFans account perspective, you best believe they will have found this sort of content, and if they see that you've gone off brand, it might be a little turn off for them. It might actually make them feel like, oh, she's not a real giantess, or oh, she's not a real dominatrix, or whatever it is that we're sort of shooting for here.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So Yeah, definitely.
So we need to
That's
just
kind
kind
of
of
my
have like a
problem.
clear cut, okay, this is your brand, this is exactly who you are, and we don't ever come off that brand.
Okay. I like that idea.
So let's talk about that then.
So
Let's
like,
talk about your branding because like we need to understand exactly, what you're going to go for. Like based on your personality and your interests, what do you like to do? What's your interest?
I like fetish. I like dominatrix stuff, and I like the wrestling stuff
Mm-hmm.
more than anything. I enjoy it a lot more than porn.
Okay.
It pays a little bit more, but it's not.
It pays a
it's
little bit
not as
more because the
enjoyable.
OnlyFans account hasn't took off because the branding's not bang on. You probably are aware of a few of our other fetish creators or dominatrix creators. And so naturally, I imagine we manage a lot of the people that you know in the space. What that kind of does for us as an agency is we've got a lot of contrasting data whereby we really understand that space now. And I think that it is a space that is of two complete extremes, meaning you don't ever really do kind of decent as a creator in this space. You're either a nobody and you're really struggling and you can't get it off the ground, or you're absolutely killing it. You're doing six figures a month and you're flying. And I find that it's normally one of the two with the femdom scene. So with that in mind, it might be that porn pays better right now, but if we can really tighten the screws and if we can get things where they need to be from a branding perspective and we can portray you exactly as we want to and we can see that come into fruition and blossom on the account, it might then be that the porn really doesn't pay well in contrast at all.
I would much rather not do porn, so that's fine.
Perfect.
I just mean like every once in a while I'll get like a paid gig from some, and it's not even OnlyFans. Like I'll just get like but it's like few and far between, and it's not even like. It's whatever.
There's nothing wrong with porn. Like, don't think that I'm shooting porn down. Porn doesn't matter. It's fine. Like our femdom creators do porn, but they make sure that it's on brand. That's kind of what I'm getting at. It needs to be on brand.
Right. That I like doing. Like that's where I got to a point where I was like, I don't even want to, like with other OnlyFans people. I was at one point doing trade and just kind of doing a lot of different stuff. And then at one point I just got really annoyed. And first of all, like I'm not the personality for submissive porn. So like when I would do a regular porn, like these guys would just do stupid shit that would annoy me. And like I got to a point where I was like, okay, if you're willing to let me like peg you or dominate you, I'll do a porn. But fluid exchange, like something where we're tested. But other than that, I have no interest in these stupid. Sorry, like just some of these people, like this whole porn mentality thing is just not,
I imagine you went into the femdom space because it suits who you are as a person and it reflects your own sexual interests, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to detract from that and do what we'd call conventional porn doesn't really seem to suit the agenda from where I'm stood.
No, it does not.
Okay, cool. So we agree on that, which is great. And look, like these sort of details, it's not hugely important at this stage. Like I'm calling you today to really have a chat and see if it makes sense for us to do business. There's not really any agenda for me in terms of coming to a fine art agreement on the way that we're going to brand you or the way that we're going to post your content or the way that we're going to, guide you with certain social media strategies. It's not about that. If you jump on board with us, we'll go through a marketing call with the marketing guys. We'll bring in the femdom specialist. We'll get him on the phone with you as well. And we'll kind of host a group call whereby we discuss the opportunities that we've got. We'll discuss your branding. We'll come to an exact agreement in more detail than we just have on exactly the way that you're going to be branded, the social media platforms that we're going to use to portray that branding, and how we're actually going to go about marketing it. So we don't need to worry too much about that for now. I'm more so just interested in having a bit of a chat with you and helping you get to the bottom of, do I want to work with this agency? So with that in mind, like, have you got any questions about us or anything you want to know, or are you quite happy with the way that we've discussed things so far?
So far it sounds good because I was thinking too that like I want to narrow down what I do and have more of like a specific niche with that, and not be all over the place. And from what told me, said you guys were making them a lot of money, so I'm, confident on that, hopefully. And then I guess I just want to talk about like percentages and all that kind of stuff, and and like anything else, like I don't know, like what kind of how it would work on what I produce and like how everything works like with you guys.
Okay, so first and foremost, the percentages. It's a 50-50 split. We work with that because it's what we do with everybody else. If I was to take somebody else on at 50-50, and then offer you a discount, it wouldn't be fair. Just in the same way, if you sign with us at 50/50 and then next week I sign a creator at, I don't know, 70/30, you would think, that's not fair, I don't like that. So unfortunately, it's not up for discussion. We charge 50/50. Whether you are happy with that or not is entirely up to you, but that's our rate. In terms of what was your other question? You wanted to also know what it was going to look like day to day, right?
Yeah.
So to be honest, it's quite a flexible schedule in the sense that we're not going to sort of say 9 a.m. you do this, 10 a.m. you do this. It's very much a go and do your thing, and we'll kind of optimize as we go. Because to begin with, the last thing we want to do is take you away from who you are. We want you to be your own person, and we want to come in and optimize that. So we're going to kind of let you do your own thing to begin with, in the sense of we want to know what you're currently doing and we want to see what we can do to improve it. What we'll then do after this initial marketing call is discuss exactly the strategy that we want to put forward, and we'll kind of find the perfect middle ground between who you are and what you do right now, and kind of who we see you to be and what we see you optimized to be on platforms as well. So once we've kind of come to that agreement, there will be a strategy in place. We'll have, by the end of that call, got a clear-cut strategy on who does what and when and how. So you'll know what we're going to be doing and what we're responsible for. And equally, you'll know what you're responsible for. Obviously, we won't hold you to account with that, but you'll know what you're responsible for in terms of what we want to see you doing and what we think will benefit the account.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, so that's kind of it from like a marketing perspective. I mean, as I say, like the fine art details will be discussed on that call. In terms of the chatting side of things, it's pretty simple. We'll log right on and we'll make a start pretty much there and then.
Okay. That sounds ideal to me.
Okay. Obviously, you are a US creator, meaning that, you're going to need to be withdrawing in dollars. Now, fortunately, we do have a US company, US bank account, and therefore can withdraw in dollars. So that means that you've got the complete flexibility to decide whether you want us to pay you. In other words, you want us to receive the funds and issue the payment to you once a week. Or equally, you have the flexibility to decide whether you want to actually receive the funds yourself and we issue you an invoice. We kind of work both ways, so whatever you prefer is whatever we'll do.
Okay, I don't know yet. I'll just think about what would be easiest.
Well, let's do nothing. Let's leave it in your account, and we'll have a think about it. And if it suits, then we can always change it, can't we?
Okay.
Cool. A little bit of information about us. We're regulated by the ICO, so the way that we manage your data is protected through a governing body here in the UK. We don't contract you to any term length, meaning that you can literally pack your bags and leave when you like. So if you wanted to, pack your bags and quit 2 weeks in, you can do that. We're not going to hold you to account. We're not going to hold you to a term length. We don't want you to work with us because you have to. We want you to work with us because you want to. And if that's the vibe, if we want to work together, it's going to be a far better relationship than if you have to work with us.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think there's really anything else from my side. It definitely seems like there's some business to be done. So unless there's kind of anything else from you, I'm happy to kind of progress the application and put a contract in place.
Okay, great. Yeah, I would love to. I would love that.
Awesome. All right. Look, I'm going to drop you a text now. I'm going to need to see ID just to validate that you are of age. Obviously, I know you're over 18, but as a regulated agency, I just think it's important that we make sure we are actively checking. So I'm going to ask to see your ID, and then once we're verified that you're over 18, we'll get a contract sent out to you, and we'll make a start.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. It was great to meet. I really look forward to doing business, and I'll be in touch soon.
Okay, great. It was nice to meet you. Thank you so much, Liam.
No worries. You have a good night. See you soon.